And then I'd like to tell you too, my mother, when she was a girl here, there's an old brick building down here that was built in 1860. And Mother has told us about Chinatown being here. And it burned down in 1910. The Chinese came all down this river and mined all along. They only took the big gold out and left the little gold. They did not take the small gold. And Mother said that the Chinatown was right from where the brick building is, clear back against the hill on the other side of the road that runs through town now. And the Chinese, when they had a burial ground here, and it was right against, over here, right against where the highway takes to go across the river, across the bridge there. And my father did all of the coffins. He built the coffins and lined them, and he had charge of digging the graves and taking the dead Chinese over there to bury them. And my cousin's father, Peter Grant, and my dad were very close friends. And they had little drinks together and so forth. So this one Chinese was to be buried there, and they did not bury their dead only half of the length, the depth of what we bury ours in. So there was right through town and through Chinatown was one of these troughs that run right through. And so Daddy, when he had the Chinamen in there, they were taking him over to the cemetery over here against the hill there. And when they went to put the coffin on the trough there, Daddy was in the back, and these two, Fraser and Peter Grant, was in front. And when Daddy said he happened to look, and a Chinese queue was hanging out of the coffin. And he said that meant that a Chinaman would never get to heaven. You know, he didn't know what to do. So, you know, if the queue was cut off or anything, and he didn't know what to do, but he couldn't leave it that way. So he cut the queue off and threw it away, and they went on and buried the Chinaman. And so after the Chinese Josh house is the one that caught fire down here that burned the Chinatown down. And they burned down in 1910, the year I was born. And all the Chinese left in 1912. They were gone from here, excepting a few that worked on the old Minnie Reeves ranch out here. And they had that all in garden out there and everything. And that was Ming and Charlie Wong, and there was another one there. And later they left, so all the Chinese were gone, but they were the last ones here. And also the old brick building down here that I spoke about was where my grandmother was raised, in the back of that. And her father was Jim Camp. You know, and he and Mr. Titus built the building. And my grandmother being raised in the back of that, it's always been, I've always felt like I should always like to see it remain